Okay, awesome. We are going. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast, The Social Selling Sisterhood. I am Lindsay Dollinger, and I am super pumped today to be talking to Lee Cordell. I actually think I found Lee for the first time. I don't remember if it was at the what did they used to call it? The Queen Con two
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, but what did they call, was it called Queen Con 2 years ago? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
But for Nelly, yeah, I think we met at
Yes.
that event. Yeah.
Yes, because I saw your planner and I'm a total planner junkie and I love all the productivity, everything. And I think I had found you online before that and I was like, ooh, this is super exciting.
Yeah.
So great. Tell us a little bit about you. Obviously, you live here in Central Ohio as well. But, how did you get into your current business? Tell us all the things.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's a super long story. So, spoiler alert. I am a trauma-informed, pleasure-focused business coach and really life coach for women who want to heal their relationships with themselves, with their bodies and their brains and their bank accounts. So really like covering everything. And I am it sounds weird to say at 34. I think and do you ever have that moment where you're like, wait, is that the right age? Am I 34? And you're mid 30s?
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
Oh my gosh, I was like, wait, is that right? Yeah, as a 34-year-old, but I'm actually like a quote unquote retired doctorally prepared nurse now because I spent the first 12 years of my adult life like thinking I wanted to be a nurse practitioner for the rest of my life, and got into it with practice for about 8 years and realized, goodness, I'm loving the advising and the teaching and the coaching and the mentoring and the precepting. And I love teaching and coaching my patients and helping them realize that they can have a better life. And I just had a really hard time kind of functioning in the healthcare system, in the medical system. And so I decided to do network marketing on the side because I wasn't busy enough with 3 kids. And
throw it in.
Yeah, just throw it in. Why not? I don't sit still well, so it worked out. And so I worked for about 5 years with 2 different network marketing companies and loved it. But again, was noticing the theme of I loved so much more like learning about my team's goals and their dreams and their whys and what they wanted to do and like coaching them and getting them turned on to personal development, doing all of those things. And so I had a friend who coached network marketing professionals. And she's like, Lee, you're a coach. Like you are a coach through and through. You need to be coaching. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm finishing. I'm in the last year of my doctorate. Like, why would I start another business? But after we had that conversation, I could not get it out of my head. And I went home and my husband's like, I mean, it pretty much does tick every single box of what you love to do. Plus, you hate working for other people. You just do. And so I started with more life coaching and then noticed that I was getting 99% of my clients were entrepreneurs. And I felt like I was doing them a disservice by not talking about the business side and simply focusing on the life side. So I made that flip about a little over 14 months ago, and it's been incredible since then.
I love it. I love just how it was like a natural progression. Like I did this, which led to this, and a friend said this, and I couldn't get it on my mind. And you've super niched down now. I think anyway. Even from following you, I don't know if it's been quite 2 years, but I've watched your niche, just get a little bit till it's like perfect, and you are attracting the people to you that really fit that. You're not worried about turning the other people away, which I love that as well.
Yeah. You can't see it. I'm wearing our trademark shirt that says I'm not for everyone, and really recognizing like, I'm not out to make people hate me. Like I would love for everybody to like me. And I recognize that the work that I'm doing on this planet is not meant for everyone. And however, the more that I can do with the people who really enjoy the way that I show up and enjoy the way that I coach, they can then go out and do things. And so it does get to affect a way broader group of people, which I think a lot of people don't think about. They're like, well, if I niche down completely, then I'm only helping this subset of the population, and I really wanted to help the world. And I'm like, but you are helping the world, because if you're making the more people that you can impact who are really drawn to you and turned on by the message you've got, then they're going to go out and do the same thing. And you model that and you give them permission for that, which is so important.
Yes, 100%. I never really thought of it that way either, but that's a great point. Now, do you work with, is it only one-on-one, or do you have other offerings currently?
Yeah, so I run a Facebook group that I do with. I love to talk. Podcasts are perfect. I'm actually starting my own podcast that comes out next month. And yay, I know.
Yay.
Yeah, we are Netflix. We are taking the Netflix style. So we drop 12 episodes at a time every 2 months. So yeah,
gosh,
so it's kind of, I know. So it's been a labor of love for like the last 6 months, but yeah. So I have a Facebook group where I do a lot of free coaching. There's like almost 2,000 women in there, and then I run a group called 21 E's every quarter. That's about releasing the hustle and the overwhelm in your business and in your life, and really running it from a place of pleasure. I am a certified clinical trauma professional, so really helping people recognize that the hard past painful learning that we've had happen in our previous life, we bring forward with us into our businesses and into our relationships. And so helping people really drop back into their bodies, feel comfortable and calm and grounded. That's a free thing we do every quarter. And then I run masterminds. So I have 30 women at a time in each of my masterminds, and those go for 6 months. And then I have one-on-one coaching. So lots of different offerings for people. Yeah. Also, I'm partnering up with some other fun women that you also know this year. We're doing some cool things that we haven't announced yet, but yeah, so lots of stuff.
I love that. I love having different levels to work with you, because I think that's a really great way for people to kind of get their feet wet and decide, well, hey, maybe I do need to go a little bit further and explore different ways as well.
Yeah. I struggled for a little while because I had always been taught, like, you have to have the tall, the grande, and the venti offer. And I could never come up with a tall offer. Like, I couldn't come up with an offer that was in the couple $100 mark that felt good for me. And so I just got rid of the tall and started doing, I forget, there's like a supersized one above venti. I don't remember what that's called, but
a Trenta.
Yeah. So mine is like free venti Trenta. Like, and that's okay. That's allowed. So yeah, definitely not for everyone. And also, like, you can follow me for 5 years and get a ton of value. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of value, most of the women who listen, not all, but most of the women are in direct sales, network marketing. How would you, which I guess I kind of just like gave it away, but with leading with value. So like, what are some tips? Because you said you were in a couple companies for quite a long time. 5 years is a long time.
Yeah.
What would you say to those women, especially those women who feel like they need to hustle to do all the things? Mm-hmm. Some things that you can really help ground them into their business and into their purpose.
Yeah, I think really remembering that the sales company that you're working for is not the brand. You are the brand, right? And I know this gets talked about a lot of places, but I think really remembering that when you do things that feel good, like when your business feels good for you, you're more likely to work it. And so how would it feel really good for me to show up? And that might mean that you're doing really scary, nerve-wracking things, like going live, like making reels, like doing TikToks, all of those things. And like, does it kind of get you excited, right? Because if it gets you excited, it will get your people excited. Right. So I think that's really, I see so many people, sharing stock photos because they're afraid to get in front of the camera, or, using cold messaging because they're afraid to actually like go up and just have conversations with people. Mm-hmm. And so really learning, like, how can I run this business in a way that feels really, really great for me, but that makes me the brand, that people are like, oh, go buy from Leslie. I can't remember what company she's from, but like her products are amazing and she's amazing, right? Like that's where you want to be at. You don't want them to remember your company's name. You want them to remember your name.
100%. Okay, so say I just started my company today. What is one thing you would tell me? Like, okay, Lindsay, you got to make sure you do this. Ooh. I've learned the hard way with this. You got to do this.
I think remembering that it's going to take a little bit of time, right? Yeah. So when I went into my second network marketing company, I crushed it off the bat. Like we were hitting 4-figure months off the bat. And people saw that and they were like, oh my gosh, I can never do that. Like this isn't a thing. And I was like, guys, I've been working in another direct sales company for 4 years, or 3 years. You have to, I'm bringing that experience in. So remembering it's going to take you some time, and also you get to bring the experience and education and knowledge that you have from whatever you've been doing before this in with you and use that. Yes. And then the last piece is really this is what I tell all of my clients. If this is the one thing that you did, it would work, is decide it's working. Decide that you're going to show up the way that feels best for you and that it's going to work. And even when it doesn't feel like it's working, that's evidence it's working, right? Even when they say no, you're like, great, okay, I got another no, which means I'm closer to a yes. And what can I learn from that no, right?
Yes, yes.
I see so many people they start to work and then they're like, oh, it's not working, and they change tactic, and then they do another one for a month, and oh, it's not working, and they change tactic, and I'm like, just decide how you want to go about this.
Yeah.
Decide it's working and work it for a while. And then if you're months in and it's legit not working, then let's look at tweaking.
Ooh, I like that. I feel like I can definitely be one of those people who gets squirrel brain, or not even so much it's not working. Maybe it's not working, but I'm like, ooh, but this would be fun to do. Yeah. Or this is shiny and new. And
yes, shiny penny syndrome. Yes. One of my favorite mentors, Keith Cunningham, he talks about thinking about it the cafeteria, where you've got all of the different things. He's like, you can't jump out of the taco line to go to the hamburger line to then go over here. He's like, you're never going to get to the front of the line. So pick a line, and even if the other lines look like they're moving faster, just stay in your line. And see if there's a way to not cut, because we don't want to, we don't
want to get kicked out of the cafeteria.
Yeah, we don't want to get kicked out of the cafeteria. We don't want to hurt other people, harm other people on the way. And is there an app that I can order the phone and just go to the front of the line and grab it, right? That
mobile order.
Yeah, is there a way to do this smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah. My earbud fell out. All right, I'm back. Oh gosh, there was something I was so we were talking, you were weaving in there a little bit of mindset work.
Yeah.
What's your approach on mindset? Do you encourage people to read audio, affirmation? What's your kind of overall approach?
Well, the Right Planner, which is the planner journal that I created, is the planner journal. So I'm really big on journaling. I think journaling is really, really powerful. I have a specific way that I journal. So it's a 4 or 5 part process where, and I love to teach this because it's so powerful. If you do this, again, there's so many things, if you just take this and do this for 30 days, you'll see a big difference. This is how I hit my first $50,000 launch. I journaled on this for a good 2 months, the same thing every day. And so you write your desire at the top. So if you're I want to hit this rank, right? Or I want to hit this income goal. And then that's the first part. The second part is you go into your fears. You're okay, these are all of the ways that I'm afraid of either hitting this goal or not hitting this goal, right? Fear of failure, fear of success. So I'm afraid that I'll have to work 60 hours. I'm afraid that I'll hit it and then I'll lose it, which is a big thing in direct sales, right? I'm afraid that I'll alienate my friends. I'm afraid that I'll whatever. And after that, you then go into flipping it. We reframe it. And we say, okay, so that, I understand that that's what my brain thinks is the truth. And what else could be true here, right? So I bring in affirmations right here. And I do affirmations a little bit differently, because most people, when they do affirmations, they actually do them in a way that can be re-traumatizing if they've got some limiting beliefs. So this is my big, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with the law of attraction secret community on this, because like you can't go from limiting belief from trauma to abundance. You have to hit safety first. So we have to move from, this doesn't feel possible for me, this feels scary, this feels like a threat, if I get this goal, because it would, potentially I could lose it, I could get embarrassed, I could hurt people, to safety. So what I say is, instead of saying like, I will make $30,000, or I will be this person, or I am this person, I say it is safe for me to be this person.
Okay.
Or I am allowed to be this person. Because if we introduce to the brain safety and allowance, the brain can go, okay, well, I don't know that we're necessarily gonna get it, but I can believe it's a thing that some people get, or it could be safe.
No, you're fine. No worries.
So like I can believe that it's safe. I can like start to open the door in my brain that this is allowed, right? Okay. So that's the third part. And then the fourth part is like evidence, right? So like, what are some brags or some celebrations you have around this? Did you reach out to 20 new people yesterday? Did you sign a client? Did you, sell something? Use that as evidence. And then the last part is the action plan, is like, if I was showing up as someone who was allowed to have this, for who it was safe to have this, who could really like hit this goal, what are the things I'd be doing? What are the things I'd be thinking? What are the things I'd be saying? And so coming up with like 3 to 5 action steps. And then here's the kicker. You got to go actually do those things.
Yes.
Even if you just do one, you got to do like, pick one to start if it feels overwhelming, and do that thing. So I love meditation. I love listening to podcasts. Like, what you feed in is what will come out, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So like your podcast, binging that, or finding something else that feels really good for you. I'm a fan of all of those things, but I think the journal work is huge. And then also working with someone who is an expert in mindset can be really helpful, because even I get in my own way sometimes and don't realize I'm doing it. And I have a coach, and I've been doing this for years. I've been in the my bachelor's is in neurobiopsychology. So I've been in this mindset space for over almost 2 decades.
Oh my gosh. You're like in the science part of it.
Yeah. So, and even I'm like, she's like, Lee, do you see you're doing this? And I'm like, well, now I do.
It's always different when someone points it out. Yeah. And you're like, dang it.
Yeah. So like finding that mentor too, that can really, or that coach or someone who's really able to like look at your situation and come from a place of non-judgment and understanding, and be like, okay, cool. Like, and do you see that you're doing this? That can be so helpful.
I cannot stress the importance of having a coach or a mentor, just someone that is not directly tied to your results. So not someone on your team. Someone who can take the emotion out of it, like a friend. Like, that can be really hard. And I see a lot of leaders, even on my own team, who are really struggling with taking that investment for themselves. But I'm like, guys, it is so worth it to have someone, maybe you only meet with them once a month. Like, it doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, but just invest in yourself. You won't regret it.
No, that's probably the one place I will never not be with a coach, right? Yeah. Like, that's just something, that was horrible grammar. Sorry. But like, I got you. I will always have a coach. In fact, right now I have 2, sometimes I have 3, depending on what's going on. And people are like, well, why would you? And I'm like, guys, this is how I'm able to coach hundreds of people at a time, is because I've got other people that are supporting me. So if you want to grow a really big business, that's the other thing I tell my clients, is like, the more your business grows, the more your support has to grow. The more you double down on strategy and really going, I don't like to say going hard, but like going deep into your business, the more you have to double down on mindset, you have to double down on pleasure, and you have to double down on support.
Yeah. And your coaches, like I have 2 or 3 at any given time, usually also like right now, technically I have 3.
I love it.
But they're all different. They're all different experts. They're all supporting me in a different way.
Yeah.
And I know some people say that can get confusing. And yeah, at times they have conflicting things, but not really, because they're all coming at a different angle and helping me with a different part of my business and my life, So
Yeah.
I think that's important too.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people think that coaches are there to, I mean, the true definition of a coach is someone, they're not going to give you advice. They're going to help you figure out what it is that you want to do. And so business coaching can be a little more, that's why I say a mentor too, because I'm not going to, if you come to me and you're like, Lee, how do I start an email list? I'm going to be like, well, how do you think you started? That's not helpful for you, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, well, what kind of email list do you want?
Figure it out.
Here's the things, right? Yeah. So, but like, it can actually be, a true coach is going to help you find your own answers, right? Like, I will give my clients advice, or like say, hey, this is what I'm hearing. What do you think? Like, or, this is what I would do if I was in this situation. How does that sit with you? Because it doesn't matter what I'm saying to you. What matters is when you hear it, how does it make you feel? Is it something that you're like, oh, that feels really scary to do, but I do want to do it, versus you're like, no, that wouldn't align with who I am or how I want to show up. So you really get to it. They're just great reflection tools, good ones.
Well, and yes, agreed. Because I've paid money for some people who it didn't help me in the way that I wanted to, and been there, done that. Been there, done that. Don't have to do it again.
Exactly. Like I've made some investments, and I'm like, oh, okay. If I had the choice, I wouldn't make that investment again. And what did I learn from that? Like, okay, the next time I'm hiring somebody, and this is something to think about with your clients as well, because especially in direct sales, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship with your client, like it's not just somebody that you're not in something where it's more one and done, you're in something where it's recurring. Really making sure that you're entering into relationships with clients that you like to work with too, because it can be so tempting when the sale is right there to be like, oh yeah, let me be the person to sell this to you. And I had to remember, like, okay, but how much time am I going to be spending with this person? Like, what is this relationship going to look like? Am I going to be able to show up and serve them at the level that I would like, in a way that they would like? And I didn't do it as much in my direct sales. And I wish I had a little bit, because I think that would have been good all around. But that's definitely something I do with my coaching now. I've gotten on calls with people and I'm like, no, you know what? Like, I think you need this, or like, let me recommend someone else to you, or actually start with the free stuff, because I don't think you're ready for this yet. And but that's a hard thing to do.
It is. Well, and that speaks to, one, there's abundance, and that, you can work with someone else, and like, I'm not feeling like I have to take all the sales, even if it's not a good fit. But I tell that to my team, and it doesn't happen often, but like, especially if we're having events or something, and like we just had an event and someone had, blocked someone from our team, and there was like some negative energy. And I'm like, I don't think this is a right fit. Like, that we want to protect the energy of our team and of our space. And the same thing with your client groups. If you have someone in there and it's just like, you've been over backward and you've fulfilled your end of the bargain, like, I don't see a need to keep putting yourself through that, because, our businesses should be fun. Like, heck, we're selling nail polish strips. Like,
like that is supposed to be fun. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, when we get to the point where, there's tears or whatever, which, like I said, it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while you can have someone that's pretty difficult to work with. And I'm like, bless and release.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah. I just had a former client get really, like, just go, have a rough time and be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't be in your space anymore. And sometimes it happens that other way around, right? Like when people get upset with us. Now, again, nail polish strips versus thousands of dollars of coaching, like maybe a little different. Like that did happen when I was in direct sales. People would be upset with the product, or they'd be like, hey, you said you were going to be my coach, and like, I don't feel like I'm getting the level of support that I need. And really just, at the time I wasn't trauma informed. I didn't even know what that meant. And now, like, knowing that all humans have past painful experiences that they've gone through that affect how they show up now, and like that we all have that. And so people get weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they just get weird sometimes. And so now being able to like recognize that and be like, okay, so let me not make this about me. Let me make this about them. And let me own the part of this that's mine, and like not own the part that's not mine, and really move forward in a way that serves everyone in the best way possible. And sometimes everybody doesn't walk away happy, but that's okay as long as everyone got what they needed.
Yep. 100% agree. So how much time would you recommend spending on like the journaling portion or like the mindset portion of your day?
So actually mindset is like the one non-negotiable in my business. Like even if I don't work on my work, quote unquote, on my business at all that day, I still do mindset. So like today, I had a meeting with my business manager, and then I had the podcast with you. So like that was it. And then the mindset came first. So I usually do about anywhere from like, it depends. It usually comes out to about an hour. However, that includes me listening to a 20 or 30-minute podcast on my drive to my trainer. My journaling in the morning usually takes me about 15, 20 minutes. And then I like to do a little 10-minute meditation in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever my kids are quiet, basically. So that's the other thing is like, some people are like, oh, you have to do it in the morning. You have to do it here. Like, do it again. It comes back every time I say this, is do what feels good. So like, when is the time that it feels good for you? I swore that I would never use a digital planner. And then I have all my write planners over here. Like I was like, I will never not write this. And then I got an iPad and an Apple Pencil. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So like now I realized, and this is even easier because I can take this with me and do this at any time. So like whatever feels good. It doesn't have to be done in a certain way. Maybe you like to journal out loud. I've seen people do that with a video app where they record themselves talking about the journal for 3 to 5 minutes. I can't remember what they're called, but they're out there. So
interesting. That's really interesting. I like that. Yeah. Find what works for you and what you're going to stick with doing, because I know that's a big thing for me. Anytime that, I was trying to download apps to be like a planner, I never ended up using them. And I'm like, okay, well then this is not working.
Like you gotta like, we make ourselves wrong for so many things, especially in business. Like women just in general, we make ourselves wrong for so many things. And so we try the thing and we do it for a week and we're like, oh, I don't really like this, or like I can't get myself to do it. And I'm like, well, sometimes it's a mindset issue. Yeah. And most of the time it's just you're making yourself wrong for wanting to do it a different way. Yeah. So just do it the different way and actually do it. So if you don't like my journal prompts, or if you like 3 of the 5 and you find that there's 2 other steps that work better for you, like this is an amalgamation of like 12 people's things over the course of time that works for me. So it might not work for you. That's okay.
I love it. And you can pick and choose, maybe start small. You don't have to start off doing a 20-minute journal prompt, your first day journaling and like go all in.
Yeah. You could just write the desire down, like practice writing your desire down 15 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Practice, writing 10, it is safe, I am allowed affirmations and be done for the day. Like anything.
I love that.
Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly, because I'd rather do something at like D+ effort for every day than A+ effort like 2 days a month. Right?
Yes. And that totally goes with your business too, for sure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Like sometimes what I do, because we're writing the sales page for my mastermind that launches on Monday, and I hate writing copy. I can write Facebook posts all day, but I hate writing copy for things like that. And so I just told my business manager, I was like, this is going to be horrible. And it's the only way I'm getting it done. And she's like, well, I can judge horrible. What I can't do is judge nothing. And I was like, okay, great.
Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so now on the topic of consistency, and then we can wrap it up because I know I've already taken a half hour of your time, but this is such a good conversation. The topic of consistency, I feel like a planner is super, super helpful with that. Do you have any, tips, tricks for women who are building a business while still working, in regards to, planning their time out or what that could look like?
Yeah. So I grew my business, the network marketing and then the coaching. I mean, I was legit working 60 hours a week, whether that was school or whatever. So like, I don't mean to make it sound like, oh, it's just so easy. Like that was so freaking hard. And I think the thing is really allowing myself to squeeze in things wherever I could. So like if I was at my daughter's piano lesson, I would bring my planner or bring my phone and squeeze it in there. And, and also one of the best things is my mantra for my business was what's good for me and what's good for my family is good for my business. And I had to put it in that order because otherwise the business would totally get in the way of my family and my own self-care. So that's why the mindset stuff came first.
Yeah.
And so I would schedule in all of I would make sure I scheduled in some self-care stuff for me. So like mindset, the exercise, those things, sleep. And then I would schedule in family stuff. And then I would schedule my business stuff around that. And that it felt wrong to do that because I was trying to leave my job and I was trying to do all these other things. So I was like, I'm putting the business last. And I'm like, no, because when I do it this way, I know I'm showing up for myself and for the people who really matter. So when it is time to work on my business, there's zero guilt.
I love that. What would you say, and going off of that, what would you say for women who are like, that sounds great, but I have kids and maybe I'm a single mom and I don't have that support where I can like actually go work my business. Do you have any tips on that?
So, I mean, I did work with my kids underfoot for sure. Like there were times that when I say scheduling the family stuff, it was like, you guys are getting like 45 minutes to an hour of me right now. And then the business is getting 45 minutes to an hour. And so like, you can ask my kids right now, especially during the pandemic, mommy's upstairs working now that they're older, like mommy's upstairs working. So, and I am coming from a privileged place because my husband was a stay-at-home dad for the first several years. So like, I do want to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
However, I think that, just giving yourself some grace and saying like, again, done is better than perfect. If I get 20 minutes in, or the post I put up isn't amazing, but it's out there and it's like people are able to see it, cool.
Yeah.
That's allowed to count. Like 20 minutes every day. Yeah, it might take you 3 or 5 years instead of 1 year, but you're still going to get there as opposed to just, not doing anything every day. So
I love that.
Don't make yourself wrong for only being able to fit in 10 or 15 minutes on a day. Like that is okay.
Well, and we don't have to compare ourselves to other people who maybe are able to spend more time or, their posts are prettier or whatever, like you said, done is better than perfect. And it's much better to show up with just a little bit each day. I feel like if you could, than doing it twice a month.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even want to know the percentage of posts that were written in the bathroom by me.
Because the toilet time
post. That was the only place that I could like be and get stuff done. And even at work, right? Like I'd be on my 15-minute break and I'm like, cool, like I'm just going to sit here because it's the second I've had to sit here. I love that I'm bringing this up. But like this is where, like that was where I got a lot of stuff done because it was in 5-minute bursts. Because that was it. That was all that I had some days. I mean, there were days that I was sleeping 4 to 5 hours a day, going to school, taking care of the kids, and really just I had to allow that to be enough.
Yeah. I love that. Allowing it to be enough and being okay with that.
And you don't have to answer messages. I see this too. People are like, oh, the second someone sends me a message, I have to get back to them or I'm going to lose them. No, you won't. And if you do, it's cool. There's someone else. Like turn off your Messenger, turn off your Facebook, stay, like, give yourself concentrated time that you're on there so that when you are on there, you're like, cool, I'm working, and maybe checking in with some people. And just know that, like, your customers will wait for you. They will wait 18 hours for you to answer them. They're not going anywhere.
100% agree. I'm guilty. I just turned off my notifications on Messenger about a week ago. And it has been one of the most freeing. And I have so much more time. Like, I never realized how much time I was spending by getting back with people instead of now when I open it up, I respond to all 15 messages I see, close it back again, and then I'll get back on it. And, whenever I say that it's time instead of it running me.
Yeah. And I use a separate app for my clients. Like, I use Voxer for them so that we can have like encrypted messages back and forth. And that's been something that's really helpful because all of my other notifications are turned off except for my 5-10 private clients in Voxer.
Yeah.
So if that goes off, I know if I have the chance, I can stop and respond to them because they are the ones who get to have that response time.
Yes. Yes. Ooh, I like that. Maybe I'll start doing that with some of the people on my team who I see like actually showing up who deserve a little more of my time. Because I was wondering how to do that with Messenger because I don't want to go in there and then see everything, That
is dangerous. Yeah. So that's why I really, or, WhatsApp or anything like that where you can be in communication with people in a very specific way. Like I have I don't like to call them VIP. Other people call them VIP, but like high level, year long, like I call them all in clients. They have my cell phone number, right? Like, no one else has my cell phone number, but they have my cell phone number.
They got direct access.
Yeah. So you get to decide like how much access people have to you. And I think when you start setting up those boundaries, it makes it a lot easier to then work because you're like, oh, okay, anything that shows up over here, it can wait.
I love that. Yeah. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more. All right, Lee, this has been an awesome conversation. I know people are going to get a ton of takeaways out of this. I know I did. And so I know everyone listening is going to as well. Really quick, before I ask everyone how they can find you, I've been asking people their favorite travel destination or a favorite trip ever. And I know it's so hard to pick one.
Oh my gosh.
What would yours be?
It's funny. I have two. I'm going to cheat and say I have two. I have one from when I was a little kid. I don't remember even I think it was Megan's Bay, which I'm not even sure where that is, but I remember we were on a cruise and I sat, it's this gorgeous water and sat picking seashells out for like 4 hours with my parents and my sister. So like, I remember that, but actually my husband and I, who my husband is also named Lee. So I am not a crazy person when I say that. People think I'm talking in the third person and I'm weird.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So Lee and I, we met in January, our freshman year of college, and went on spring break in March to Paris. And it was like, it was truly like one of those love at first sight things. We've been together.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah. So we went to Paris. And so we keep talking about like, we have to go back there. We have to go back. But that was probably one of my other favorite trips. Like, I got to know him really well. So.
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet. And you definitely do need to go back. You deserve to go back, girlfriend.
Well,
as soon as we can get over there.
I know. Our plan was to go back this year, but we'll see. Well, it'll happen. So
it will. Oh, I love that so much. You'll have to recreate like some of your pictures. You know how people do that?
Oh my gosh, I love that idea because actually his profile photo is I took it of him in a cafe in right by the Eiffel Tower. And so, yeah, we have to go back there and do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. That'll be so fun. All right. So where can everyone connect with you? I know you mentioned several different free and you know what, maybe your planner is like your tall offer.
Other people have said that. Yeah. So if you want to get details on the planner, it's the right, like when you write something, WRITE, the right planner co.com. And then, Facebook is where I hang out. My people are like slowly shoving me onto Instagram. I'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have a free Facebook group called The Pleasure of Business. So you all are more than welcome to come join that.
Awesome. Yes. And I'll put all of her links in the show notes as well, guys. And if this ends up on YouTube, which I think it's going to, I'll put all those links there too. So you guys can just click and easily find Lee and her awesome planner as well.
Thank you.
All right, girly. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.